Welcome to our episode of Barman Saturdays, and this week I take a look at Danny Boy, which I got in this collection of Rin Tin Tin Jr. films. And this film from 1945 that's in black and white, we have Rin Tin Tin Jr. playing Danny Boy, a war dog that, has come back home after, his volunteer service in the war being over. So he comes home a war hero because he helped, save soldiers and stuff during the Battle of Iwo Jima. Gotta pick a famous battle, I suppose, to give the dog, accommodation for, like, this dog did great things for America. But, the war's over, so he's going home now. Of course, at first the owner's like, he doesn't recognize me. Is he even Danny Boy? And like, oh, there's the scar. So this is definitely Danny Boy. He has an injury, remnant of an injury from when he was like a puppy. So like, yep, this is the right dog, but he's like suffering from, post-traumatic stress disorder and doesn't really recognize his owner at first or how he should behave anymore. Because he had to be trained to be a war dog, then had to go through training to go back to being like a civilian dog. And, if you can get back to being accustomed to being around just ordinary people all over again. So, a bit of a mess there.
Don't worry. He will in time. You must remember, Jimmy, that he's in a sort of fog, like I was when I first came back from the South Pacific. You see, he's been trained to forget you and everything connected with his civilian life. Then he was brought back from the South Seas and retrained to make him forget that he ever was a soldier. Is it any wonder that he's a little mixed up?
No, I guess not.
He'll snap out of it in time, like I did. And it'll be just like coming out of a bad dream.
And to make matters worse for him, one of the neighbors hates him. Because, he's a war dog, which makes him a vicious, dangerous animal. So he warns one of the neighbors who has a little kid to keep their toddler away from the dog. They're like, he's gonna kill him, because he's a vicious dog that's gonna snap at any moment.
How dare you let that war dog run loose? He might have killed little Jackie.
Almost feels like they're predicting all the stories about Vietnam soldiers being spat at by civilians with that plot line. At any rate, eventually Danny Boy's owner gets in trouble because his friends are playing baseball near this neighbor's yard. And why they're doing it, I don't know, because this neighbor is known to them as the Grump. And literally has a sign outside his house saying, "Keep off my lawn." So they're playing baseball, hit the ball, and smash one of his windows on accident. So he threatens to, literally beat the kid that did it, in the street. Yeah, totally stable person, obviously. So one of the guys driving by stops and it's like, you better not do that. He's like, this has nothing to do with you. You're not the boy's father. He's like, well, what if I make it my business? And he starts talking about how they broke his window, and he's just like, oh, that's it? They broke your window with a ball? Like, okay, we can just buy you a new window to fix it. How much is it going to cost? Like, I'll do it myself. And the kid's like, no, we broke it, we'll pay for it. So they start running a lemonade stand, and while they're doing that, the neighbor has a rancher come by that I guess also has orange trees. They constantly refer to him as the orange tree man or whatever in the film. And he's like, oh, I really want that dog. So then the neighbor is like, oh, I'll get you that dog. They then he starts walking him off, and he's like, come back at 10, I'll have it. And they don't really start to tell him the plan, but then the movie just wipes the rancher having the dog. Like, they don't show how they captured the dog, so I have to assume the plan was either so bad, or the filming of the scene didn't go very well, so it was just cut from the film, because it's a really hard edit. Like, you just go from, we're talking about the dog, to all of a sudden just, BAM!
How are you going to do it?
Come back here about 10 o'clock.
Well, have you decided to be a good dog? Because if you have, I got something nice for you. See? That's the way you feel about it. You ain't gonna get nothing to eat. Shut up! Shut up or I'll come back back and beat you within an inch of your life.
Dog's caught being tortured, by the rancher to try and get him to obey him. It's like, oh, you want the food? Then you better be a good dog. And Rinty's like, no, 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 no. I am not a good dog. Not for you. I know who my human is. So eventually, Rinty or Danny Boy escapes. He is also referred to on the back of the box here as Ace the Wonder Dog. Can you really keep a Wonder Dog down? No. But after he gets home, he eventually sees the neighbor and the orange man again, so he jumps over a fence and attacks them. So that means, Danny Boy's got to go to court because he's a dangerous animal, and the judge sentences him to death. So the other veteran from the war is like, what, I'll take care of it personally and take him out to the woods and shoot him so he doesn't have to go all the way out to the city. Be executed, like just a common, ordinary dog. This is a war hero after all. He deserves to be killed by firing squad. But of course, eventually kids find the evidence like, oh, this is why Danny Boy attacked them, because they kidnapped and abused him. So they chase after, Joel to stop him from killing the dog, and while that's going on, the neighbor is out there also with her little son who wanders off by the railroad tracks nearby the woods. So Danny Boy has to step in, go grab the boy, and pull him off the tracks.
Go get him, boy. Go get him. Go on, boy.
Jackie!
Danny Boy saved little Jackie.
Of course, boy's mom passes out, because like, oh, so close, such a close call, just boom. Like, well, we gotta save the dog now. He's a hero. He saved a local boy. And then the kids show up and they're like, oh, see, we got this evidence. Like, see, we have the whip and everything. We know what they did. So it wasn't a random attack at all. Danny Boy attacked them because he knew they were dangerous criminals. So they go back to the judge, who issues a warrant for their arrest, and everyone lives happily ever after that point, I guess. As far as the film goes, I had a hard time getting into it. I think it's because it's just got a lot of kid actors in it. I mean, it makes sense. This is a film about a boy and his dog as well. But yeah, I didn't mind, walking off to go use the facilities for a bit and just let the film continue playing, just come back and jump in where I was at that point. Just like, I'm not going to miss that much probably in this hour-long film if I take a short break. So, yeah, it definitely didn't, grip me so much I had to stay around and watch it, but I'll admit, kid actors tend to annoy me a bit because most of them aren't very good at it. Well, until next time then. See ya.
Danny Boy! Danny Boy, come here!
Help somebody! The dog's killing me! Help me!
Danny Boy!
Help me, somebody! The dog's killing me!